I'm not a great fan of the term muscle memory, but the principle that everyone seems to understand by it is that repetition creates this ability to do things easier. And I'll go with that. I don't think it's anything to do with the actual muscles remembering. I think it's your brain creating pathways to activate muscles. That's the thing that's remembered. But that's all by the by. Alright, so first of all I want you to do is, with this resistance band, I've just chosen this one because it's the one I have handy. Now I just want you to make yourself into a nice fighting stance. Get your weight sort of back in your stance. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a back stance-ish. Got this here. Well, I'm just going to push it in this way, transfer my weight onto the front and back again this way. And we're just building up that repetition, reaching as far as you can, coming all the way back and going forward. And of course, using the resistance band to train this, to work these, to get these muscles to operate as you'd like them to. As soon as you take the resistance band away, the technique will be faster and stronger. Yeah, so that's the first one. Next thing you can do is to change this to your front hand. So we're here. In that same position, got a weight back in the stance this way, and I've got some tension on the band already. Right, and then from here, you're just pushing out with that front hand. Yeah, you can see how, hopefully, you can see how the action is working all parts of me to get that repetition, that real speed and snappiness in that front hand. Right, so the next thing to do, I would say, is to work on moving ourselves forward as we punch. Right, so instead of punching from a static stance, we're going to actually drive in as we punch this way. Yeah? So you're actually trying to move forward as you throw your technique this way. Now I can feel that just making me making the required muscles work, just doing a few. So repeating these lots of times, I think would have a really beneficial effect. Let's go with front hand. So here and again, from this backwards type of position to start with, you're driving, push forward. Yep, similar sort of thing. So instead of doing the punches statically now, you're driving in, you're pushing yourself forward in that stance as you throw the technique. Next up, I'm going to put the band around me this way. Put some tension in the band to begin with. Right, and get myself in my fighting position. And I'm just going to work on the stance this time, just pushing in. Just push it back. Push it back. Now obviously I'll get pulled back a little bit more than I would do otherwise. But what I'm trying to build is that explosiveness in this like bang, to push myself forward. And that repetition with that resistance band is really good for that, really helping me to get that spring, that drive forward. And obviously I can practice it with hand techniques. I can practice it, I haven't stretched at all today, so I can practice it with the kicks as well. Right, let's try that again, get some tension. Good here. And back kicks are a bit low, so, but, and you see that band, and also when I've got the resistance band, I love resistance band training because it helps me to build core strength. You know, as I step and do this kick, I have to fight the resistance of this band pulling me backwards. So it helps me to be more stable. Yeah, and obviously I can change to a heel kick. Oh, I should have stretched, I appreciate that. But you get the principle. Right then, you put it sideways and work on your sideways movement. this way. So push up here. Alright, what we're doing is building that endurance to be able to keep push and go this way. Now what I'm doing, if you probably good to practice this perhaps with a mirror in front of you or with your phone in front of you, so you can check the shoulder width stance. Right, we go slightly wider, then it goes back to shoulder width, slightly wider back to shoulder width, slightly wider back to shoulder width, not crossover, crossover, yeah? Avoid crossing over at all costs, yeah? Because at this moment, you're very vulnerable. Right, so from here, make the stance wider, back to normal, wider, back to normal, wider, back to normal, wider, back to normal. Obviously this is my left leg, so if I turn the face the other way, put my right leg in front, obviously do the same, so from here, wider, wider, wider normal, wider normal, wider normal, wider normal, wider normal, wider normal. Good. Right, so hopefully those things you can see will give you some really beneficial ways to work on your endurance and your, what's the best way to think? Yeah, I think endurance is the thing and creating those habits of moving, keeping your stance nice, and that explosiveness of driving in and pulling back. Yeah, hope that makes sense. I hope it's helpful. It's just one element, one small part of the competition training, but hopefully that'll be really useful to you and build your endurance for those things, so you can keep doing it even if you're tired. Right, brilliant.